Welcome to Real Estate Talk. We're tackling your questions about real estate. Today's question is, what is a jumbo loan? Courtney,
what
you
is
want me
it,
to
Joe?
start this one off? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a jumbo loan's designed to help home buyers purchasing more expensive homes, those living in areas with high housing costs. So a little bit more traditionally, jumbo loans are also called non-conforming loans. You may have heard them described that way because they don't conform with FHFA limits. It's above that. So the conforming loan is within that FHFA limit. A non-conforming or jumbo loan exceeds that limit. So, okay, so far so good, right?
Yeah.
Those limits, by the way, are set each year. So if you plan to buy a home in 2025, it's important to know what the conforming limits are for that year in particular, in this case, 2025. So actually, let's talk about that because that's super important. What are the conforming limits, loan limits for 2025? So the conforming loan limit this year in 2025 is $806,500 for a single family home in most U.S. real estate markets. So that means if you need a loan that's more than $806,000 and $500, you need a jumbo loan, Courtney.
Yeah.
However,
I'm tracking.
All right, good. This conforming loan limit can vary by market. So an example, in Hawaii, that's a really good example. The median home price there is higher. The conforming loan limit is $1,209,750. So we'll link to an FHFA map in the description of this episode so you can see the conforming loan limits in your area.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about how to get approved for a jumbo loan. Okay, so jumbo loans usually have stricter qualifications like a higher credit score, low debt to income ratio, and larger income and assets that have to be proved to the lender. Lenders typically require a credit score of 700 or even as high as 760, and typically also requires an increased down payment. So with conforming loans, again, these are loans that are within the FHFA limits. There are programs that you can put 3% down, 5% down, or even 10%. Jumbo loans require a larger down payment of at least 10%, but in some cases, a lender may require at least 30% down.
Yeah, I definitely heard 30 before. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked a little bit about debt to income ratios. To calculate a debt to income ratio, you divide the sum of all of your monthly debt payments by your gross monthly income. And debt to income ratio, also known as a DTI, as high as 50% is acceptable to some lenders for a conforming loan. But for jumbo loans, your DTI has to be under 43%. And honestly, lenders prefer closer to being under 36%, or less.
And also, Courtney, just sorry to jump in, but also I think like more assets too, right? Where
for sure.
Some of them require borrowers to prove that they have enough liquid assets. And really in savings to cover like 1 year payments, for example, too.
Also, another factor is second appraisals. For a jumbo loan, the lender may require an additional appraisal. Think of this like a second opinion. And, we talked a little bit about limits for conforming loans. Well, what about limits for jumbo loans? The limits for these type of loans may vary by lender. Some lenders will extend 3 to 5 million on a jumbo loan. Others will lend as much as 10 to 15 million and beyond. So definitely something to consider as you're making plans, especially if you need a jumbo loan. Joe, what about mortgage interest rates on jumbo loans? I think that's really what people care about.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of what we talked about just seems higher, but actually jumbo loans can have and usually do really similar interest rates to conforming loans, and sometimes even lower than conforming mortgage rates too.
Why is
the reason for that? Just because high income earners, they have the ability to pay back the loans. So of course that just lowers risk for lenders. That's how lenders think about everything, is just the risk that they're taking on when giving a loan. So you often find lower risk than average borrowers. So the interest rates are similar to conforming loans in a lot of cases.
So Joe, in your opinion, who really should consider a jumbo loan at this point?
Okay, so first off, if you're someone that's looking in an area that's going to require a loan that's at that higher amount, that's a really good indicator that you should be thinking about getting a jumbo loan. You might need to get a jumbo loan if it's at those higher price points, but those loans aren't appropriate for all buyers. That's important to know too. They are appropriate for those that earn more than $250,000 annually. That's another really good benchmark to consider. If you have a high credit score, Courtney, low DTI, cash reserves, you feel more comfortable with higher payments, a jumbo loan can help you become a homeowner.
Absolutely. So I take it that one should avoid a jumbo loan if the costs are too high, if they don't meet these income asset requirements, or their debt to income ratio is a little bit too high, right?
Yeah, and that's the way I've seen it come up before when I'm working with buyers is they almost start the conversation with the lender. We've talked about that in previous episodes too. And it's really the lender sometimes that's like, oh, I understand the price point you're looking at, or I understand something about what I'm hearing from you about your qualifications. And they almost like lean towards like the conversation around a jumbo loan. Maybe it's because that lender specifically, that's all you qualify for, be given those factors. But in some cases, if you have the choice, you're going to want to start asking some questions to that particular lender about the product. And as always, shop around if you need to.
For sure, for sure. This gives you all foundational knowledge of a jumbo loan. It's really important that you build relationship with your lender to dive deeper into your specific circumstances so that you can make the most informed decision possible. We'll provide more information in the description below, and we'll be back with another episode with tips to help you navigate the world of real estate. Let us know in the comments what questions you'd like us to answer in the future. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for lots of great upcoming content. We will see you next time.